everybody, I'm Tom Bassel.
I'm Zee Garcia, hi.
Sam Healy, welcome back, folks.
So we're going back 20 years.
The Wayback Machine.
20.
Do people use that still?
Sure.
They used it 20 years ago.
Wayback Machine?
Wayback Machine. This is a long time ago.
It is.
It's wondering why the DeLorean was parked outside.
Yeah.
I was gaming 20 years ago. We probably have some watchers who were not born 20 years ago. So we went back 20 years to take a look at the games that we enjoyed from those years. Back when gaming was king. Back when games were all good.
No.
Come on, Sam. I'm lofting the softballs at you.
Negative.
So here's the deal.
Strong no.
I could have done a top 10 from 99, but we decided, for everyone's sake, to make it 98
I could have
to
done
99.
it 99 also.
I
but
could have too.
What? We could have done. Yeah, but you would have. You both would
No,
have
but
games
there
you
would
don't
have
like
definitely.
on
Yes,
that.
there would have definitely been
there are
games that I
enough
would not have
games
liked.
that I would not have been ashamed to put some, to make a full 10 list.
I can't say
But
that.
some of those, like
I'm
the
still-
bottom three, would have been games I rate a 5.
Well, what year was better, 98 or 99?
I don't know.
I didn't look at 99.
I
I
think
didn't look at
99.
98 enough.
Oh, I was gonna say.
No,
I didn't even look
all
at
but
99.
all but 2 of the games on my list are 99 games.
I think 99 was slightly
I
better.
agree. 98 was not a good year. I don't think I would have struggled to do a 20. Now here's the thing.
He would have
Already-
struggled to do a top 20.
Already, there's going to be people who are going to say these years were fantastic, the best years of gaming ever. If someone tells you that,
They're
then,
lying.
well, yeah, that's true, actually. But then they're kind of stuck in the past. There were some great games that came out. We'll talk about some of them.
Yes.
Some very classic, fantastic games. But you had to search for them. Back then, we played
Well,
a
you
game.
didn't. That's the thing. That's why those people remember that. You did not have to search for these games because they rose to the top.
Oh, right.
That's the difference. Those people who are like, man, 99 there were so many good games I can recall like that. That's probably true. Those 8 games were really good. And everybody knew it because everybody was playing the same games. They were clearly the better games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your top 10 games of the year could be completely different from mine. You might not have even heard of some of mine, and vice
Right.
versa. That's the difference. So 99 was a good year for lazy people, is I guess what I'm saying.
That is not.
If I'm saying anything, what I'm saying is, ya bums.
And that, kids, is how you double down.
I also think there's
Keep
going
on digging.
to be a couple games that will be on none of our 3 lists that somebody will say, I cannot believe no one mentioned.
Well,
That's
Game X.
always
Game.
true, yeah.
Well, in this case,
Well, I'm going to mention it. If anybody says it, tell me, and I'll change my number 1 right now. I'm not attached.
I think we're going to have some crossover on these lists.
No kidding. Yes.
See this? This is integrity.
All right.
I got to pick that up soon.
Oh, I found my drink. All right, well, here we go. Let's get started with number 10.
Number 10.
All right, my number 10 is from 99. I did write these down earlier, and now I'm forgetting, I think.
Oh, I did not. I guess I should have.
I can remember the 2 that.
All right, so this is an auction game. I wouldn't be surprised if it shows up on a lot of people's lists. Some people say this was the best game of the year for sure. And this is what used to be the hardest game to search for on Board Game Geek. And that is Ra.
Raw.
Because you used to put in RA and it would bring up every title that had an
Ra.
RA anywhere in it.
Yeah.
But now they have a smart search function. It just brings it up as number 1. I think they probably went in and coded it so that
Just
happened.
that one game, probably. He was sick of
Probably.
hearing it.
If they come up with a game called The, we're in trouble.
Well, I think it's a sequel to the game. A Game is coming out next.
Bring your A game. Anyhow, Ra is a auction style game. It's an auction game. Sorry, it's not a style. It's all about auctioning. You're auctioning for tiles. They just reprinted this a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, it's a little longer than that, I think.
You're trying to get these tiles here. Some of them are good. Sometimes there's bad tiles, and you bid with these tiles in your hand. You only have 3 tiles to bid. But when you bid for a tile, you're also bidding for a tile that you'll bid on with future turns.
Made
So-
a lot of sense.
Well, no, like I might have a 17. That's a really powerful tile. It's very high. I'll win the bid, but the bid there might include a tile that's 3, which means I probably won't win one I want in the future. There's also, once everyone has won everything, one person is left, and they're trying to push their luck a little bit, and I like that. Everyone shouts, rah, 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 shish kumbah.
Not when I play.
Not when I play either.
But I will now. I mean,
No cheerleaders in my Raw game.
I like it. What was it? Rah, rah, rah.
Shish Boomba.
Shish kumbah.
Shish Kumbah.
That's the reprint, I think. It's just called Shish Kumbah.
Anyway, no, but you've never seen people chant rah, rah, rah.
Yes,
when someone's
yes.
pulling
Back
the
in
top.
'99 when it was cool. Now you just sit there and look apathetic, and you're like, games, whatevs.
Why am I
What's
playing
the
a
matter
game
with
that's 20 years
gamers
old?
these days? All right, my number 10, rah.
All right, my number 10 is a game that I need to say this first of all before I go any deeper into this list. There are games on this list that I would never put on a top 10 list. Never.
So we're gonna get some different.
That doesn't make any sense.
Except for this one. I don't think that. Nope. None of these would be on any other top 10 list ever, except
about-
for these 2 years.
Hilarious.
I'm going to think of a
Okay.
top 10 list for every single one of your stats.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Anyway, this one I guess maybe might make a best versions of Monopoly list because
You
this
have to
is
resort to Monopoly.
Monopoly Star Wars Episode 1.
I bought this for Sam.
The Phantom
Yes.
Menace.
Well, they didn't have that in the title, but yes, it's Star Wars Episode 1.
Well, that box
Monopoly.
is high quality.
Well, that is a picture of somebody's very nastified. Yes, right here. This one has seen some love. But I will say
Or
this:
hate.
it is one of the best versions of Monopoly. The board is a little bit recessed. Well, the track around where you're actually going is raised off of the board on the inside, so it actually acts like a dice tray.
Okay.
Which is cool.
No, component-wise, this is awesome.
No. Component-wise, this is a great version of
Like
Monopoly.
1999
The hotels
great.
were little things that actually snapped into the board, as well as the apartments were also things that snapped in and then they stacked.
Okay.
Yeah, but the best part is the property cards.
The property cards actually slid into a little thing here, and they were actually cardboard. They weren't just paper.
Right, so if you land here and you buy Naboo or whatever, you just slide it out.
You slide, and it's a great version of Monopoly,
I'd have to get this.
but it's still,
You said that with a
it's
straight
still Monopoly.
Here's the top 10. Top 10 games Zee has lied about.
Yes. Top 10, my number 10, Monopoly,
I
Star
bet you
Wars
this might make your
Episode
top
1.
10 Star Wars games. No, probably
No,
wouldn't even do that.
It would not. It would not. I'm sorry. But this is a great version of Star Wars Monopoly.
All right, do it.
All right, my number 10 is an abstract game from the GIF series of games called Zerts. And Zerts, that
Well, this one
right-
almost made mine list.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
like a breath
That was a lie. I'm trying to copy you now.
okay. This is one of my least liked from the series of games from that designer.
It is my least liked for sure.
It's in the bottom. I don't know. I haven't ranked them all, but it's like bottom 2 or 3. It's really a thinky game, and the thing I don't like gameplay wise, as far as like the strategy there, this thing's deep. Someone good at this game will destroy me. There's no question about that. Just the means to an end presented by the game, this idea of having to set up your opponent for failure, isn't my favorite. You have to. It's one of those games in which if you can capture, you must. And so you set your opponent up to do things while you sit there and go, dance, monkey, and then you capture the thing where it ended up. That feels like getting not just trounced, but manipulating into putting yourself in a position to be trounced.
Tell me more good things about this game.
Another thing I hate about this stupid game. No.
It's a top 10 list.
Oh, it's good stuff. I like it because
It's pretty.
it is pretty. No, the component quality is fantastic in this game. Again, it's a thinky, abstract game. There are a lot of people out there who do say this is their favorite, but I think those people enjoy that tactical maneuvering, and really this one does do that. Don't get set up better than most of the other ones.
So people who like Zerts are probably narcissists, is what you're saying. Who like manipulating people.
Maybe. I think that was the original title, and they changed it.
Narcissism, the board game.
Anyway, my number 10, Zerts.
All righty, let's move to number 9.
Number 9.
All right, my number 9. Sam is going to scoff at, but he has played it many times, and he liked it when it came out, but now he's too cool for it. This game is also off of everyone's list now because it's now mass market, but I played it a ton. We got to give love to Apples. Originally called Apples to Oranges.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first name of it, but I don't know if it was published that way. But
Glad they changed that name.
Why? You're comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
actually thought that name was better than Apples to Apples.
Comparing apples to apples
This one
doesn't
is
actually
green.
make a whole lot of sense.
Sure it does. You have a green card that you're trying to play a card that everybody will think, or at least the person will think matches in some way, shape, or form. So you're playing apples to apples. You're trying to get a match. You're not trying to compare two things that are completely dissimilar.
Sure, that's in theory the way the game should be played. But in honestly, you're just like, oh, I'm playing this movie actor because I know that my wife will always pick him.
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I don't care what you say. This is the next card I'm playing.
Okay, this is the basis for many, many other card games. But before those games came out, Apples, this was very innovative at the time.
Supreme.
I remember playing this and just like, when I first played, I was like, this is amazing. And we played it. I printed out custom cards. I still have some of those. I really enjoyed the... I'll still play it now, too.
Apples to apples I would play, honestly, way before I play Sam's pick over there, whatever. I don't care how nice that Monopoly
It was
game
a Monopoly game.
But Apples to Apples is still a good game. It's a very simple game. You can play that with anybody, and you'll have some laughs, you'll have some fun.
I guess if it's the only one there, but there are games that have done the same thing better.
Name 7.
I'm not going to name 7. I'm going to name
Then
1.
invalidate it. End
Are you
of
going to
discussion.
say anything?
Yes,
Sure, but
absolutely.
the one
Yeah,
thing
but in
that...
saying
You're not,
anything, I have to
you're
come
not
up with
restricted.
things.
Exactly, you're not
I don't
restricted
wanna
by your hand
think,
of cards.
Cat.
Okay, even though his sarcasm has some point to it. The thing
Of course,
about Apples...
every time, see, I deliver humor with a tinge of truth.
No, but sometimes people just want to throw a card in the middle of the table.
Yeah, and with Apples to Apples, sometimes you do, and you know it's not going to win.
I know it's gonna win. That's high self-esteem. The original
Apples,
title of
apples.
this game was actually High Self-Esteem.
All right, my number 9 is a game that I probably will never play again.
This is like the theme of the list.
running bit.
When we get to
Don't
number
forget, you
one,
have to
he'll
come
be
up with
like,
a top 10 that this fits on.
oh yeah. The last one was...
top 10 games I will never
The
play
last
again.
one was
There you go.
Monopoly games that I would play if my top 10 Monopoly games weren't around.
Wow.
No, it would make Sam's top 10 Monopolies.
Ricochet
For sure.
Robots. Ricochet Robots is a game that...
Top 10 lies Sam has told.
Yeah, so that's probably...
You hate
true.
this game.
But Monopoly was below.
Wasn't too fond of Monopoly either. I'm glad you're catching on.
Did we need to do like top 10 games from 99 through 97, maybe?
No, 97 was not a... We need to
mean,
just get a few
it's-
more years in the future.
All right.
It's clever. It's a clever game. It's just that it's not my kind of game because I'm not good at finding the best solution to something fast.
Have you ever played Mutant Meeples?
No.
You might like that one a little bit, right? Because you have like superpowers.
It's the same game, but with superpowers.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Anyway, you're basically trying to find the quickest or the shortest solution of routes, whatever, to get a color meeple to the symbol that's right there. So I believe you have to get the blue to that blue symbol, and you have to
Right.
do it. See, he's already doing it. He's already doing it.
I'm
He's
thinking
working
it.
He's working the solution. I don't care. I don't.
This is your
The
list,
problem-
dude.
But
Not
this is,
mine.
but again, if you're restricting me to this year of games, this is what I'm coming up with. I will play this if we have no other than these 10 games. I will play them.
I considered this one, actually. It didn't make my top 10, but I like it.
This one is a fairly punishing experience. though.
Yes.
It's an interesting game. I would play a round or two. I don't want to play a whole session.
I remember when this first came out, though, they were like, this plays up to 99 people.
Right.
Sure, if you like have some people with binoculars in the back of the crowd looking at the
Right.
board.
Or you have like
I can do it in 7.
It's just that's my number 9. Ricochet Robots. Not a bad game, just not my cup of tea.
All right, my number 9 is a game from the esteemed Uwe Rosenberg.
What? Is it Agricola? Is it Caverna?
No, this is before that.
Verna?
What?
But
Le Havre?
much like Agricola, it is a clunker. It's called Clunker.
Oh, I hate the art for this game.
Clunker. Maybe it's, I don't know how you say it, but it's Clunker.
This looks like the sketch the guy said. The guy said, this is what my cover will look like. I'm just giving you a quick sketch. They're like, good.
We already printed.
Got it.
This is a card game with some wheeling and dealing between the players. You were trying to basically collect sets of cards, and you were making offers by putting some things in your window shop.
It's when tongue rings were cool.
Yeah, man. And then other players could take those from you. There was some interchange of cards between the players. This was, again, before...
I do like how that kind of makes the jewelry pop, that style.
Yeah, look at that cat's shoes, man. That second
Specifically, he's calling this person a cat, even though they're next to a cat. That's very confusing.
And when you said that, I went here and I was like,
I'm sorry, look at that human
I said he's
foot.
wearing a necklace. That's what went in my mind.
I'm sorry, I did not remember the cat.
I did not like this
was
game.
Before. I liked it all right. I enjoyed it. I owned it for a while. I eventually did let it go, but I enjoyed it. This was before, again, Uwe Rosenberg sort of got abducted, I'm assuming, and started designing really heavy Euro games. He was doing a lot of these kinds of card games back then. And this one was actually one of the ones I really liked. There were, of course, the more popular ones, and I don't think this did that well. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good, mechanically different set collection game. So, my number 9, Clunker, much like the rest of Sam's list.
I wrote the review for this in Pensacola. I remember that.
Really?
You used to write back then?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, he actually wrote it out on a piece of paper, mailed it to BGG.
All right.
Number 8.
My number 8 is on Sam's list, so there's no reason for me to talk about this one now. This will be one of the few games that he's not going to say bad things about. And that is Starfarers of Catan. Guaranteed it's on Sam's list. So this was the sequel. This is the sequel to Catan.
This is numbers 1 through 3 on his list.
Here, show the
Yes,
picture.
wow.
Ooh, you flew spaceships around, and it's like Settlers, although it really is a lot different in many ways. A lot of people didn't like
Which is
it
why it's good.
when it came out because it was too long. Something we would probably laugh at now because it's really not that long compared to a lot of games.
Yeah, but does it warrant that length?
I like it. So Starfarers of Catan. I like
Do
the
you
pieces a lot.
terraform any planets, for example?
No.
Or traverse any great trails?
That's really struggling there, dude. That one doesn't even make any sense.
All right, my number 8 was mentioned already by Mr. Vasil. Apples to Apples.
What? I thought you wouldn't put this on your list. You told me you were sick of this game.
Again, the last two he
glad
mentioned,
you've caught
he
on.
openly despised. This one, he merely grew sick of.
Exactly. This is correct.
Yes, we made Sam do this list. Okay, just to clarify.
Apples to Apples
Just go with it, folks. Enjoy it. Enjoy
was
the ride.
fine. Apples to Apples was fine. It has been upstaged since. There are, say anything, hands down, I will play
saying it.
Cards Against
before Apples to Apples. I won't play Cards Against Humanity. But again, that is another way that Apples to
Crabs
Apples.
adjust humidity.
Crabs That Just Humidity, the knockoff.
Oh, I see.
It was like an unlicensed
Never heard of
expansion.
Got it. But no, I do like the concept of the game where you're trying to play to what you know about the judge and what they like, and you're trying to find something that is either a direct match or something that is a funny, comical match to whatever that green card is, according to what the judge. I like it when games do that. I just think other games have done it better since. But this is a good one, and I would probably still play it again.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if it is fun. And I have done it before. We went over to one of our deacon's houses once for lunch after church one day, and they pulled this out.
And Sam was like, no!
Do you happen to own?
I got a phone call.
Do you happen to
I'll
own
be back in a half
episode
hour.
1 Monopoly?
So,
What do you think this is, 99?
So I will play it again, but my number 8, Apples to Apples.
All right, my number 8 is a dice game from Reiner Knizia. This is called Escape.
This was my number 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Reiner Knizia, who was the designer of Raw, was riding high in '99.
He was. It was a good
king
it was
of
a
the
good year for him.
world. And Escape is a pretty simple push your luck dice game. In it, the interesting part is that you roll dice. They're actually not, six normal six-sided dice. They got sort of weird pips. One goes up to 7, but skips a number somewhere. They're different. And then so you're making a 2-digit number, like, my number might be 63, whatever. And then you take that roll and bid it, basically. You place it on this track. And if it's still there, no one bumped you off, by the time it comes back around to you, then you get to move some steps up on the track, depending on how strongly you bid. And that's a clever concept. There were also a few other things that were really lucky, like if you roll doubles.
I always play to roll double X's, you kill everything. Everything and everyone.
Normally, you are out, though, if you roll double X's or even a single X after the first.
If you roll a single X after the first roll,
you're out.
You're out.
And it's rough. So it's a total luck fest. But you know what? It's really well produced. This is from the version I have anyway from Philosophia, which would be eventually, I guess, Z-Man games. It's a good looking game. It's a neat push your luck game. Very lucky, but well done. So Escape, my number 8 pick.
Cool.
Number 7.
All right, my number 7. Here we go again. I'd actually just put
Never
this.
heard of that one. Here we go again.
It's
my own.
Mamma Mia.
This is the one where you're building a pizza?
Backwards. Yes. This game, I just put a Dice Tower library.
Mamma Mia.
Along with its expansion
Papa
/ sequel,
Mia.
Solo Mio. This is a memory game, which, when I first heard about it, I was not interested at all.
Right, you were like, ew, memory, what is this, 1998?
But you have these ingredients, and you are slowly taking turns putting ingredients in a face-down pile. And if at any point you think you have the hand of pizzas, if you think the ingredient pile holds those, you put that pizza down too. And then everyone just keeps doing this. Eventually you flip the whole pile over, and you start counting out the ingredients. And if your pizza comes out and the ingredients are on the table, you did the pizza. But then those ingredients also go away. So sometimes you put a pizza down and I'll think, I don't think the ingredients are there. So I'll put my pizza down, hoping
mine is not going to take
because his are not going to take them away. But then they do. Then my pizza doesn't go off. I've never played this game with someone who was able to really count the cards.
Right. That would be
fun. But there's been definitely moments halfway through where I'm like, oh, here.
It's like a gut play kind of game. It really isn't.
And there's one pizza
I'm sure
that
it's
says,
a memory game for somebody. I don't want to play with that somebody.
I
I
see
think.
what you did there. It's a food game. It's a gut play kind of food.
And there's the one pizza that's 15 or more ingredients. And so you got to play that pizza at the right point. The 15 one. You're like, I think there's probably be 15 at this point.
Then it flips over. There's 4.
It's pretty entertaining. The problem with Mamma Mia is it's one of my hardest to teach games. I start explaining it, and I'll say, you know what? Let's just play one round, and then you'll understand. It's really easy to.
You think it's hard to teach? See, that's like a thing I heard a lot, but.
But you're so good.
No. It just seems like ridiculous now thinking about it. It's like Mamma Mia. I remember back in '99, people were like, "This card game's really neat, but it's one of those games that's gonna be really difficult to teach." Now it's like a gut laugh.
Gloomhaven.
Did it again.
All right, I like Mamma Mia. My number 8.
No, it was number 7.
Number 7.
My number 7 is one of the only games that I am aware of from '99.
You still would play.
Actually, this one's from '98. This is the one that runs from '98.
Please tell me you like this game.
No, I do like this one. It's a trick-taking set collection game called David and Goliath. It's from '98.
I would just call it trick-taking.
You're also kind of set collecting as well.
There we go. Yay!
Yeah, David and Goliath. Now, originally, this is the reprint of it where they kind of put the animals on there, the mouse and all that kind of stuff. But the original version actually had, people.
No, actually, that's not the original version. That's just the first one you played. I think the original one may have had mice on it, too. There's been a lot of versions of it.
This is the version that I played. This is the version that I like. I don't care about having the animal version, but that's
both.
the one. Well.
It's gonna be on somebody else's list.
It's a neat
very
little,
close to the top.
It's a neat little trick-taking game, and I enjoyed it, so I put it on the list. Number 7, David and Goliath.
You like David and Goliath too, so but what's your number
It
7?
did not make my list.
Really?
My number 7 has been mentioned.
Mentioned? It's been mentioned.
It's been mentioned by somebody at the table.
I prepare all.
By Mr. Vassal, in fact.
Not me.
And it's a crossover, Cat Mamma Mia.
No, really?
Oh, Papa Pia.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mamma
it's
Mia's-
Rosenberg. This is back when Rosenberg was king of the card games.
And I will go ahead now and mention that there's a trend developing. I have on my list of 10 games, I believe I did the math, I think there are 5 designers. 5. Or designing.
This game?
No. I'm saying my entire list
your
is
entire
made up of
list.
only 5 designers.
Okay, I got it.
Maybe 6, because I think one of them is a team of designers. But that's 2 people together. But technically, basically all the games are from the same people.
Well, I have
The people who were popular
I
in
have 6
'99.
I have 6 designers. That's because one designer designed 4 games. I wonder who that is.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Mamma Mia, I don't really find that difficult to teach anymore anyway. Now,
That's because you're that good at it.
maybe that is it. I am that good at
I
making the
might-
pizzas.
I might have the most diverse list as far as designers are
Yeah,
concerned.
but we have lists we like.
No, I'm liking on
But
my
mine's
game.
more
I mean, I
diverse.
could have put a list of 10 games with 22 designers on it, but it would have been random games that I searched for a lot of designers for one game.
Just
Okay.
talk about Mamma Mia.
You already did. I like
Yeah.
it. It's a good card game. I actually replayed this year, a few months ago, and it's still good. It was a little long. It was a filler. Like you played 3 rounds, I think it is.
Oh, but that's one of those games I don't play to 3 rounds.
Oh, you don't?
Well, you don't have to. I can just be like, all right, we're done.
Oh, sure, I guess so. But you can do that with anything.
Well,
I
how many
still
trick-taking games do you play to their conclusion?
That's true. That's true. There's very few because they're so long normally.
I usually do finish them.
I'm done talking
Noob.
about this. Who plays trick-taking games all the way through?
Those
It's so 1998 of you.
those who follow the rules, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, that's my 7. Mamma Mia.
Oh, Papa Pia.
Number 6.
All right, my number 6 has already been mentioned by Sam, like
What?
5 minutes ago, and that's David and Goliath.
Goliath. There we
Oh,
go.
really?
It was a number 2. There's a lot. I really like my top 7 here a lot. Used to be
alive in '99.
ones have really given it a run for its money, but I like. There's David turning into Goliath. See?
Yes.
Ah! Where does he become Goliath? Where does David stop and Goliath begin?
That's a very deep question.
Here.
when the hair starts going away?
Yep.
If you put these all in order and you flip them, which I have,
Yeah,
you see David, such a nice kid, turn into this jerk. Also, somehow
wears
the clothing
The
stretches
loincloth-
with him.
No, the loincloth has stayed the same. It's
Oh,
like
you're
just
right.
above his knees here, and it's like,
Oh!
we wear shorts.
That's true.
Anywho, David Goliath works really well as a trick-take game, and I like that it scales really well. I first played this, was not in '99. It was a few years later when the Player of Entertainment came out, and I played a 3-player, and I was like, 3-player trick-taking game? But it's okay with 3. And it's okay with 6. And there's very few trick-taking games that I'll play with either of those counts.
Right.
Usually I want 4 and no more.
You play it to its completion. Actually, I think this game is one of those where you play a round.
You might play more than 1 round. I can't remember.
but
We usually just play one hand. How many points you're gonna? But it's a somewhat lengthy round. It's not
Sure.
super short.
like 15 tricks or something. Yeah.
So David and Goliath, my number 6.
My number 6 is a space sci-fi game that comes with a hockey puck.
Andromeda.
Yep.
An ashtray, I believe, is the word you were looking for.
Well, if you turn that ashtray upside down and you look at it from the opposite
space.
side of the whole side, it looks like a hockey puck.
I've actually played this game in the last couple years.
Really?
Get out.
I don't think it's aged well.
Well, of course not. I
That
don't think so.
The luck of
honestly.
so you pull this back
Yeah.
to see what cubes come out, and it's one of those games where you can have 20 cubes in there, and I have 1, and
Yep.
if mine comes out,
Exactly.
I control the planet.
Yeah, but
But I do.
Camel Up exists thanks to this. I'm just making wild statements. Sounds like Camel Up has the thing, where you the die comes out.
Oh,
guess.
this,
I can
you put
see
the
that.
cubes in. Have you played this?
No.
You put the
Come
cubes
on,
in,
man.
you
Some
swirl around with
respect.
your thumb over the hole,
Yeah.
and then you pull them out, and they come out in a nice straight line, and it gets to go, and that's how many points you get.
Yep.
You get
It's an Alan Moon game.
Yes, it is.
He was making a lot of stuff around this time, but most of it I don't really like.
I didn't hate this game. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
It just,
I didn't.
If someone said I'm going to reprint it, I'd be like, you should think about that.
What about Kickstarting?
Although
it
it was on Sam's top 10 list of 90.
Again,
That's going to be on the Kickstarter.
reference the
You
caveat.
just right now, someone out there watching this right now is like, that game is out of print. Huh. I could put that it was one of Sam Healy's best games of the year was published.
Oh my goodness!
They're going
Please,
to call you up and be like, I talked to Alan Moon already. You
Can I get a quote?
can I get a quote?
You'd be like, yeah, it was better than
If you have nothing else
most other
left
games
to
in that
play.
year.
All right, so that's my number 6, Andromeda. I don't think I did very much talking on that one, but there you have it.
It's an area control game.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this is a group effort.
My number 6 is also
takes a village.
from Uwe Rosenberg. It's also a trick-taking game. This is the one you said you don't like, I think, Bargain Hunter.
Oh, what was the original name of it called?
Jagun Sugar. I don't know, with the appliances.
I dislike
German,
this game.
though.
This is when you take a trick-taking game and make it too complex, in my opinion.
Really? I'd never found it to be that complicated.
However, it was 20 years ago. I found it to be too complex. Maybe my mind would be changed now.
Sure. I like it. It's a little long. You are playing, I think, 3 rounds in this one also, but the idea is you're collecting, you have like one kind of thing you want to collect, and you will change what you're hoping to gather through the game as you go from round to round, and you got to get a certain number that you're banking. Have you played this game before? No?
Not that I recall.
I like it. It's
Definitely not.
it's funny that you say it's a complicated one, because I found it to be a pretty straightforward one with, yes, a twist, but it's needed. Otherwise, a trick-taking
Yeah, but this
part
is
of
your
it.
shtick today. I said that Mamma Mia was hard to teach, and I think calculus is a difficult class.
It is.
Okay, good. That was a test. You'd be
Did
like,
I
what?
pass?
I did that in
Did
kindergarten.
I pass? I
Calculus.
passed the test.
In
See, it's
kindergarten?
Easy. Psych. Anyway, Bargain Hunter, trick-taking game, Uwe Rosenberg. There you have it. What's next?
Number 5.
Now, you notice that the last game that Z put up there, the Bargain Hunter, was reprinted by Valley Games.
Yes.
My number 5 was supposed to be reprinted by Valley Games. Never was. This game has been out of print for a long time, and I'd like to see it come back in print, and that is Big City.
Big City, I think, just got a reprint of Tom.
I
By who and where?
Are you thinking about big money?
No. I thought this finally did make it out.
I think that
I think
they
I
are
kickstarted or something.
they are reprinting it, but I don't think it's out
Okay,
yet.
maybe it's not out, but I think the process has started, right?
Sure, but I'm saying that Valley Games thing delayed it for a while
I
because
know,
they were
I know.
supposed to
Yeah,
do
they
it.
said they were going to do it, and then it didn't work out. Right.
Big City, when I first saw it, like blew my. It wouldn't blow my mind now, but they had all these
The
plastic buildings.
Yeah, sure.
Nowadays, you're like, well, that's what you expect.
Yeah.
These buildings mean nothing really. The height of them, they could have been anything tiles. But on your turn, you are slowly building out this board and putting buildings down, and depending on where you put different buildings, and they're next to banks and movie theaters, you'll get points for residentials and stuff like that. It's a pretty good tile laying game. I really enjoy it. I won't lie, the 3D building element certainly pumped it up a
Right.
bit for me.
Right.
But I found this one interesting. Now, I will say this. It's been a few years since I have played this. But I think Big City, I'm curious if it would hold up.
That's what I was going to ask you. You said you'd like to see it back in print. You think it would hold up?
Well, time will only tell.
Oh, Manhattan came back, and it's got
Yeah,
similar-
but Manhattan, even back then, I thought was better than Big City. I like Big City back then a lot. So it's on my list. I think it's good. I'm
Okay.
curious to see where it would fall now, but I'm eagerly looking for this reprint. I don't remember who's reprinting it, though.
I don't recall either.
Fantasy Flight.
No.
Star Wars theme. It's going to be Coruscant.
Game of Thrones. The buildings are dragons.
So that was my number 5.
I don't know. Go.
All right. From here on out, I like these games. All right, here we go. All right, so my number 5 has actually been reprinted as I can't remember the name of it now.
Tell us what it is, and I'll tell you.
Celestia. Thank you, person who has seen my list. My number 5 is Cloud 9.
This was my number 12.
But it has been reprinted as Celestia by Quick Simple Fun Games. This version, if you go ahead and show the components version, I believe it's in there, is ugly.
Ugly is a strong word. I don't think it's ugly.
Compared to Celestia, it's absolutely ugly.
I think it's just okay.
But anyway, I really do enjoy Cloud 9, and I like the kind of the.
Can we see the picture of it?
Not
so we
really.
Can determine whether it's ugly or not.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
No, not beautiful.
I don't think that's ugly. I thought that the balloons were all the same, and that was problematic.
It looks like in a children's book from the 70s. That's what it looks like. And those were
I
ugly.
grew up in the 70s, and I like the children's books.
Go back and look at them now, and you will say that they are ugly, especially compared to the children's books from today.
Children's books?
Yeah.
Richard Scarry?
Do it. Yes, those were ugly, dude. Yes, ugly. Richard Scarry.
How can you not like whatever you just said? I have problems with this.
Anyway, Cloud 9. It was a very fun game. It's not one based on the look that I would want to go out and play, but after having played it, I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad that they have a new version called Celestia that looks so much better.
I think Celestia's very pretty, but I didn't hate the way Cloud 9 looked.
Oh, I did. I disliked it very, very much. But that's my number 5, Cloud 9.
I always want to hear what
Celestia.
game that Sam says good things about for the most part. My number 5 is good. At least the reprint is.
All right, my number 5 was already on your list, I think, Tom. And we are back to Reiner Knizia, Raw.
Of course. Ra is required to be put on these lists.
It
even though I
kinda
bet
is.
it's not on
Raw
Sam's.
is not on my list.
Is it really not?
Do not like that game.
Yeah, but you didn't like your 9 or 10 either.
Right, but
You put Monopoly on the list because you wouldn't put Raw on the list?
yes.
You dislike it that much.
Yes.
Ryder Kenichi's going to come up and snap his bow tie in your face. He'll be like, Monopoly?
How dare you, sir?
That's crazy talk, man. Raw is... What I like about Raw, the main thing I like is the once-around bidding in it. That's a bidding style that especially then was really cool. It was different. I liked that single moment of decision you have to make. There's none of this like, oh, you bid 6, I bid 7.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then you bid 8, I'll bid 9, sure, and then it gets cool. It's one time around. And then since the numbers are, there's no repeats and it's 1 through whatever, 14 or 16 or something, I like that if your bid was 4 and my next number available is 9, how badly do I want that? I'm paying that 9 and losing it just to outbid you. I have to make that jump, and I have to make that choice right now.
I don't think I've seen this version.
Now this version is the new reprint. I actually did a comparison video between the
Where's the wooden
the
pieces?
Uber Play version and the new version. I did a video comparing them. I did not like the look that much of the new one. It was very ornate, but it was also kind of hard to see.
To further justify my not including Raw on the list,
go ahead.
I know that I've played all of the games on my list, including the 2 that I said that I would never play again, more than I've played Raw.
Okay.
Even Ricochet Robots, I've played that more than I played Raw.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I played Raw quite a bit.
No.
I no longer own it, but
After 1, maybe 2 plays, I was done with Raw.
no, I thought it's a very solid design.
Just didn't like it. No, I'm sure it is. I just didn't like it.
Reiner Knizia, I think, might actually be
Monopoly
looking for you.
technically is a solid design as well.
Like not liquid, you mean, or gaseous?
No,
So we're
Just
talking-
go.
It might
Just
induce
go.
gas
Hit
in
the,
some
hit
people.
the transition.
Number 5, Raw.
Number 4.
Speaking of Reiner Knizia, here we go.
Okay,
Dun, dun,
hold on,
dun.
let me think.
Samuel, here's the best clue. This is not on Sam's list. In his top 1,000 of 99.
Lost Cities.
Cities.
Lost Cities, baby. Great game. In fact, they just came out in 2018 with
When
Lost
I
Cities.
saw it on the list, I was like,
That was-
nope.
I know.
I
write it
do
down.
like it. Actually,
Don't
Cosmos.
care. I would have come with a top 9 had I needed to.
All joking or nonsense aside,
Nonsense.
this game definitely has had legs. They just reprinted it, in
Racco
17,
Deluxe,
right?
yeah, Racco Deluxe.
In 17.
They're reprinting again, in a bid with the extra color added in.
Glorified Racco Deluxe.
Yeah, no, the extra color. Actually, I'm not as huge of a fan of the extra color because
I love
it
how you
takes
guys
some
are
of
just
the.
ignoring me. It's
Yes,
awesome.
because it takes some of the tension out of the game for me, I thought.
I'm gonna use it as like a prop, actually.
Lost Cities has a very interesting history because they made a board game of it, but it was called something else. And they
Racco.
made a card game of that board game.
Messy lineage.
Then they made a board game of Lost Cities.
Yes.
Then they made a card. It was,
Technically, Keltis and Lost Cities, the board game, are the same game.
they are.
But then they did spin-offs off of Keltis, like a card game version. Shouldn't that be Lost Cities?
Right.
They're not. They're different.
Then they made rules to play Lost Cities itself for 4 people. The official rules. I remember this.
Really?
Yes, you had to get 2 sets or whatever. And then
Nah.
they just came
Sam
out with
refuses.
Lost Cities Rivals, which was auctioning. It's confusing, but the original Lost Cities.
Rivals. Lost Cities Rivals. No? Should I say it one more time? Lost Cities.
You running out of jokes?
I remember playing Lost Cities with 4 people back when it was called Racco.
Dude, this is like.
Yeah, let's be
Hey,
honest.
you
though.
brought it back.
But let's
You're
be
the
honest.
one that said let's do a 20 years ago list.
Yes!
But
I'm
you
gonna
gotta
this
say, if
every year.
Racco had come out in '99, it would have made your list.
Over Lost Cities, you are correct.
Oh my
saying.
goodness, this argument is like 10 years old now.
It is.
Oh my goodness. Actually, it's more than 10 years because Eric just mentioned he's been on the podcast for 10 years. So that means this.
It was
like,
before you.
You guys are both old.
Join us,
I
young
agree.
man. So
I do
I
not
really like
deny
Lost
that
Cities.
fact.
One of my most played games with my wife. I have a good time. Just played it. It's probably been a year since I played it, but I played when we got that 6 color and tried to. I thought, wow, it flows. I like it a lot. Lost Cities, mine and Sam's number 4.
No.
All right.
Nope.
Am I projecting too much?
All right, my number 4 is a game that we enjoy playing. We play this on our live streams every year. It's called Time's Up.
Oh, I was like, Tumbling Dice? Is the name out this game?
No,
right.
Time's Up. Now, my favorite version of Time's Up is actually Time's Up Title Recall, which came out a few years later than that. But the general gist is still the same, where you have names on cards or of different things, books, celebrities,
Cheese
just
flavors.
whatever you might say, and you have to
an
get
expansion.
people to guess
Time's Up
to
cheese.
say the words that are on the card by doing different things. You can say in the first round you say anything that you want. Second round you have to curtail that down and only say one word. The third round is
I like how you're showing the cards from Title Recall there.
of course that's my favorite version.
Good
That's
one.
why I did that. But it's a really fun game, and it's actually a really good icebreaker because you'll find games. This is one of the games that I would play with my students in class when we had an off day or something to that effect, because this is one that everybody can join in on. And I do like playing it the team version, the way we usually do it on the live streams.
Right.
Better. It's just more fun that way, in my opinion. So that's my number 4, Time's Up, specifically Title Recall.
All right, my number 4 is Lost Cities. That's again another crossover in the
Wonder
same
Twin Power
spot.
Activate!
That's twice now. What do we
Yeah,
cross
right.
over on?
Wonder Twins
Mamma Mia.
Activate.
Mamma Mia,
Bucket
Lost
of water.
Cities. Everything Tom said is pretty much on the money. It's a solid design, and it does flow really well. And this is one of the, I don't want to say first games, but it's one of the games that stands out in my mind as an example, a paramount example of creating a tense experience with very little. This is a game which is a deck of cards and a superfluous board. Really, you don't need it. I mean, it's a deck of cards. Yet, this game is going to give you some serious turn angst. You are going to have tough moments in which you don't want to get rid of something, but you feel like you must. And then the other player goes, ha ha, pick that up.
It's the only game I know where I count the cards.
Do you?
Like when you're like, okay, wait, How many cards are left in the draw pile? 6.
Oh, sure, yeah, you have to, because you can speed up or
Alright.
slow down the game depending on where you draw from. And as the end of the game nears, you have to get a few cards out to really score something. So you're like, I'm going to play this. I'm going to draw this stupid card just because I don't want to drain the deck.
And the other person's like, oh, that's how it's
hold
going.
on, I'm just burning it. It works. It's a solid card game. Yes, for one, I've played it a lot, and I do prefer Celtus now, just for variety's sake. But if you've never played and you're looking for a solid 2-player card game, this is... All right, my number 4, Lost Cities.
Number 3.
All right, I'm still in this Knizia train, but this is a
Choo-choo.
this is a game that I like better than Lost Cities. A 2-player game. Just taught it the other day. Shotten Totten. Or Battle Line was another version, but then Yellow just a couple years ago remade it as Shotten Totten, which I liked better because Battle Line, the artwork looks like they didn't really work hard on it. But Shotten Totten, the silly Scott artwork, I like it. This is just a fascinating game because it's essentially you're playing 9 games of mini poker.
Right, simultaneously.
Simultaneously, and you're playing cards, but my favorite thing about it is just at some point you can go, you can't win that. Like, how do you know that? Like, well, you're looking for a yellow 6, right? Look over there. It's already on the table. It's more thinky. My wife likes Lost Cities way more than Shotten Totten, but for me, I enjoy this one more. There's one of the few games.
I thought you liked Lost Cities more.
No, I like this one better because Lost Cities, I feel like I'm okay at playing Lost Cities. I feel like if I play this, I have a good chance of winning.
I thought there was a game called Battle Line that you despised.
I don't have a glove.
Hold my jewelry.
Hold my microphone.
Shotten Totten is my number 4.
I thought you didn't like. I thought there
3.
was a game called Battle Line that you hated. There's a game that I always get confused.
It's called Bottle Line.
No.
You have to line up a bunch of bottles.
No, it's like you have a bunch of warriors or something like that.
Oh, no, you're thinking of Dragon Warrior, the Richard Borg / Alan Moon Risk card game.
It's just called Warriors.
Warriors, yes.
I thought it had
highly
the word
dislike
battle
that
in the
one.
line in the name.
There's also Battle Cry, which is a
no.
That's garbage.
lazy.
Ay, la cara.
Shotten Totten, kill or be killed. That's the tagline, dude.
Wow. All right. My number 3 is a 2-player game called Kahuna. Kahuna is a really cool game. It's an area control game where you're trying to play cards in such a way that will allow you to get the majority of bridges that lead to certain islands, and you score those islands, and you get points for them. I really do enjoy it. It's a very simple game, very not difficult to play at all, and the components are really neat looking as well. Plays really fast, and this one knew it was going to be on my list because I still have it in my collection, and I still haven't played it in a while, but I still think about desiring to play it because it's a great 2-player game.
Interestingly, this one in particular is I like a lot. It was on my short list.
It was probably my 11 or 12, yeah.
A lot of these games, I'm like, oh yeah, this definitely led to these games. I don't know that I played another game like Kahuna. I mean, besides Kanaloa, which is
Yeah, 4-player
version.
Sure.
I don't know that I played many games that are like this, where you control something and it bursts everyone else off of it, which could make them lose something else.
Yep.
There's some really neat aspects to this I haven't seen anywhere else.
I don't know.
2-player line was king,
Yeah.
right?
Rising
and
high.
Lost Cities and Kahuna were 2 of the hot ones.
Yep. That's my number 3, Kahuna.
All right, my number 3 is from Mike Fitzgerald. This is Mystery Rummy Jack the Ripper.
I thought about this one.
Mystery Rummy is one of those series that has really been going for a long time.
Isn't Mystery Rummy like the love letter of the late 90s? Because they came out with like a buttload of versions.
No, but he actually stretched it out.
Love
Like, I think
letter.
number 6 just came out like a year ago, so that's 20 years.
Yeah, they came out with one a couple of years ago based on Alcatraz, I want to say.
Right. So
I actually backed that on Kickstarter. It was on Kickstarter, and it was him and a co-designer who I believe brought him the idea of wanting to do another one, and Fitzgerald.
is this
worked
your
with
favorite of the bunch?
Yes, and the new one being second, actually.
Weird. 20-year difference?
Yeah, this is my favorite. It's not the easiest of them all. In fact, this is one of the more bizarre because it's sort of two game systems running at each other, and depending on how the game ends, you score one way or another. So you're either trying to, again, capture Jack the Ripper, and then you're doing basically, your set collecting rummy style thing, or he escapes and you score something else entirely.
I like that aspect.
I like it too, but it is kind of a messy thing to teach.
Oh, you just got to play it.
You have to just sort of have a go at it. I like this series. It is a weird kind of series, like no one's ever done mystery dominoes and do a whole line of domino style games where they're all based on like his literature or historical events. It's a weird idea. But you know what? They've been doing it for a long time, and then they do make for interesting and historically engaging games. Like there's the Al Capone one, and again some of the earlier ones are literature based. But yeah, I do enjoy. So good 2-player game, Mystery Rummy, Jack the Ripper.
Number 2.
All right, my number 2, we're still with Reiner Knizia.
Really?
But we're out of the card games into the board games. This one's here because we expanded into 1998.
Hold on.
This one has been remade multiple times. Just was remade a couple of years ago.
Through the Desert come out in 98?
It did. Big box, small box, big box. Through the Desert. This game is just, I love it. I really do.
I didn't see this on the list. I must have.
This is one of the games that, of all the games on my list, other than number 1, my number 2, this is the most played over the years. Like, I've definitely played this in the last year. I played it the year before that. It just comes up, I think, partially because I'll be somewhere and someone's like, hey, what game do you want to play? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, have you ever played this? And most people say, oh, no. And I'm like, ooh, I'll teach you this. This is a classic game. Putting camels out on the board.
Yeah.
Building trains. It's very simple. That's from the review I did. There's my hand. Look, is it older looking now?
That is which printing?
That
FFG,
is. Who knows? The printings all looked fairly similar. That board is not the new board, though. I think the new board looks cooler than that.
That was the original, actually. I had the printing after that, where the board had a section differently colored.
No, it still might on this one. That just might not be in the shot. But the game's pretty simple. You put the camels out, and then you get points for connecting to oases. You touch these things, you get points.
But yes.
You get points for having the longest of any group of camels.
Stay in school, kids.
Man, come on. If you're gonna fist bump every time I pronounce something wrong, your fists are gonna be bleeding at the end of the episode.
That's messed up.
Through the Desert.
Like Jason's high five.
Amazing game.
Through the Desert is so clean.
Someone says it should be on a 1998 list. This is 98, 99. So that's why it's on my list.
Yeah. Listen to the intros, people.
Do it, son.
All right, my number 2 is a game that I haven't played in a very, very long time, probably more than a decade. You know that's not going to be it. Number 2 is a game called Chinatown.
Heard of it?
Oh, good, because people are already screaming this wasn't on our list.
Oh, really?
But I was like, it's not going to be on anyone's list, so I'm glad you got us covered.
Okay, there you have it. Strange that I would be the one to
quite
do
a
that.
bit of
Well,
that.
I will explain after you say good things about it.
Yeah, well, I just enjoy the, I guess, I don't know, you call this area control?
That's like a wheeling and dealing.
It's negotiation, man.
Negotiation, but you're trying to get blocks of numbers together. I do remember that, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I just haven't played it in so long.
You're putting together, like, you can trade back and forth different kinds of shops.
Yeah, but you're trying to get the groups together. Yeah. That's the point of the game, and I enjoy doing that. So, I mean, it's I like the fact that it was Chinatown. It wasn't just some boring neighborhood somewhere.
Right,
it had a cool theme on it, and it was fun to play. So just remembered it, and that's why it's my number 2.
I feel like Tom hates this more than I do. The reason it's not on my list and I grew tired of it is near the end of the game, the math becomes too transparent. That's what I don't like.
Actually, no, I don't hate it. I like the game. I think the game's fine. It just faded for me because negotiations are extremely critical, and players need to be at equal levels for it to work.
Because you were too good, always.
No, maybe the other way. And I think Lords of Vegas has replaced it. Lords of Vegas does very similar aspect.
I can see that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I think it's a great game. I have a hard time getting new people to play this because the negotiation is a steep. The game isn't hard to learn, but it's hard to know what the values of everything are.
It's easy to make a mistake.
You'd be like, hey, I'll buy that property from you for $4. I'm like, $4? I'm so desperate for money. Yes, I just lost in that transaction.
Sure.
Wow.
All right, my number 2. You're done, yes?
Yep.
My number 2 is from a different designer, a team of designers. This is Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling's Tikal.
I thought this would be your number 1.
No, I have one higher than this. Tikal is an exploration game. One of the few exploration games.
Is that Lara Croft?
Sure.
It's back when she was just an intern, though.
It does look like, it does look like her. What I like about this is one of the few exploration games that really gives me the feeling of exploring. I remember the first time I played, just the jungle revealing itself as you walked deeper into it, as you pulled the shrubbery from these temples, cleaned them up and found more levels to them.
The shrubbery?
The shrubbery, man, the vineyage. That's a collection of vines is pronounced a vineyage.
Thanks, Dad.
I made that up, guys. I don't know what that is. I really found it a thematic game, even though mechanically it is, it's really a mechanical game. You got action points. You can spend 2 points doing this, 1 point doing that.
Sure, but if you compare it to Mexica and
then
Cusco,
yeah.
it's like, oh, Tikal's more themed than I've ever seen.
That's true. It is more thematic than the other ones that came out a little bit later. But I found it back then when I played it to be something really different. This idea of exploring, revealing tiles, going and controlling places, that was really cool to me. And I still think it is honestly one of the best pure exploration games out there. I love that the board looks radically different at the end of the game than at the beginning. It's a good tale. It sort of tells you an evolving story. And while it is very mechanical, I appreciate that very much. So my number 2, I still got it. In fact, now I have that Super Meeple version, Tikal.
I really like Tikal. It didn't make my list, but it was on my short list. Just so I have some credit.
And finally, number 1.
My number 1 is probably not a big surprise. Was already on Sam's
Can
list.
I say it?
Yes.
Fast. I don't know.
Time's up,
Oh,
Cat.
yeah.
Time's Up. I love Time's Up, and I remember playing this one of the first of the new era party games. Apples to Apples, pretty much around the same time, actually.
Yeah, right.
I still think Time's Up and Apples to Apples together took us out of that terrible party game period where Trivial Pursuit reigned supreme.
But it brought in the era of the copycat.
Well, sure.
In fact, I used to own a copycat version of Time's Up called Name Dropper. Look it up if you want to have fun.
No, there's still some. Just a couple years ago, one of these celebrities, I remember who it was, she got on and was like, look at this new game. It was Time's Up again.
Sure.
And then there's other versions of it. And I know Time's Up was based on the dictionary game. That was a public domain name. But they did a great job at putting this together production-wise. They came up with a lot of great names. I really like this. I think these might be...
Eli Manning.
I think...
from Deluxe.
No.
Dan Brown, Billy Idol.
Kool-Aid Man. You're just talking about Kool-Aid
Bobby
Man.
Flay.
Oh, yeah.
Vincent Van Gogh. Anakin
Anyway,
Skywalker.
it's so much
Vincent
fun, this
Dutrey.
game. I still remember the very first time we played it. It was a game that right out the gate we were like, this is amazing. This is a fantastic party game. And I've changed my view in recent years where I used to always want to play in groups of 2. Now I want to play team versus team.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun. If you've never played this, give it a whirl. Easily my number 1. Time's Up.
Title recall, as you would say.
Sure.
If people now have the choice to go for that one.
Yes, but I would play the celebrity one too.
Okay.
It just, the title recall is a little easier because if there's a song I never heard of, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, which I have, but let's say I didn't, I could break that down. But if I come across some weird name, those names are harder to break down.
Sure, right. You can't get clues from someone's name.
That's why you purge them while you have the chance at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, but there's always that one guy who won't.
Somebody else over there might put in something that I don't know.
True.
You know, there's some things you don't know.
There's a lot of things I don't know, especially cultural
I'm just kidding.
things.
There's a whole book over here.
You know, if it's like a person who was popular, especially in the early 90s here, I have a blank spot right there. I'm like, I don't know who this is. Oh, like the other day, I found out who was that computer guy who would stutter. Oh, just Max Headroom. Thank you, Max Headroom. I just found out who that was like a month ago.
That's because you weren't here then.
Right, because it wasn't old enough for me to have found out, and it wasn't new enough
it was
that
back when MTV was on its heyday.
I'm gonna make like a category things Z don't know, like Jeopardy.
There's a whole lot. Max Headroom. Yeah, well,
Things
there you go.
you don't know
What?
for 500.
I'm trying to figure out what Sam's number one is. Was it been on one of our lists?
Yeah, it's on your list.
Come on, man, step up.
Oh, duh! I already mentioned this. I said I knew it was on your list.
Yeah, Starfarers of Catan is my
It was your number one, huh?
Yeah, my number one.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sam likes space.
I do.
When they come out with Vikings of Catan, though, there's gonna be some.
That's it. Done.
Vikings of Catan.
Catan rage.
No, this is an example for me. This is an example of taking a game that was just ho-hum for me, Catan, and making it good, but you're still employing the basic same system, but it's better. And that's what Starfarers of Catan is. It just made, I don't know, for me it just made more sense and it made it more fun to start and then have to explore out, which is basically all you're doing at Catan. But with Starfarers, it made more sense.
But Starfarers also had that encounter system, which was really cool. This is before stories became big in games.
Right.
There's too few of them.
I also liked
ones.
how they kind of worked in, they kind of shoehorned in almost some special powers. If you traded with the different
I like that.
alien races, you had special abilities. And I know that's kind of already in Catan with, what is it? They were the cards, some of the cards
the
that you could play.
characters.
The upgraded cards or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just made more sense in Starfarers of Catan. And the retro spaceships where you had all those things that you clipped onto it that made you a little bit better in fighting if you had guns, or a little bit better in trading if you had something else. And it just, everything together really made this Catan better. That's what it.
They were gonna call it Catan better, but
Yeah, but here's the thing. We just played a version of Catan recently, and it made me realize that base Catan, it's just something I'm not interested in playing anymore.
Right.
But I would play this.
Yeah.
this is very out of print, right?
Right.
And it's weird. They never even tried to bring it back. So I'm not sure what the
Another
deal
other
is
one,
there.
Starship Catan, I think, is the one that got republished with that
That
pirate
was
theme or
two-player
ship
game
theme.
was done as
That was a
Winds
two-player
of
game, yeah.
Winds of Plunder or Forgotten Winds or
Northwind.
Breaking Wind.
It's called Northwind. I think.
Northwind. Right.
But
Okay.
that now was a 4-player game. They
Yeah,
changed
it was probably best as two. but
This
yeah.
was just never has come back.
Well, I would imagine it's super expensive to produce it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll
They could
kickstart it
change
at some
or
point.
Kickstart it or something. Yeah, it sounds like the kind of game that now they could make a really good version with more content.
Yep.
All
And
right.
pieces that don't break
What do
when
you
you
got?
put them on.
All right, my number one. What do you think it is?
Time's up. Same as me.
No.
I
It
was
was
hoping
on
for-
your list.
Starts with an S.
What's wrong with you, Cat?
Did you look? Wait,
did.
such an S? It's not been on any of our lists.
It's been on your list, but now that really reduces.
Shot and Todd is your number one?
Yes.
You like it that much? Nice.
No, I like it 1999 that much.
No, that's his list. You can't
slow down.
You can't steal
Slow
his
it down. I
shit.
rate this a 4.2 out of 10. No, I don't. I do like this game.
4.2 out of 10.
Now, Shot and Totten, especially that version, which is very nice, is it's a solid game, like you said, for everything you said. Yes, it's simple. Yes, you're fighting basically many battlefields at the same time.
But why
There's
did you
always-
just include the player aid?
Because I knew it was going to be on somebody else's list, and they already covered a photo.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm going to next to be like, what picture will Z you?
Hey, you try to outpicture each other. So,
This
yeah,
player,
you're-
by the way, super convenient. Wasn't in the original game.
I know, yeah. So I used to own the GMT, is that right?
Battle line, yeah, GMT.
Yeah, GMT printing of it, very unattractive, yes. The cards were good quality, but the game was, basically the same thing. This printing is very gorgeous, easy to play, it includes that. But that's what it is. It's that push and pull of fighting many battlefields, of being able to prove something can no longer be won, of knowing, because the way you win, that's the other cool thing, is the way you win is you either control 5 fields or 3 adjacent.
Right.
So where are your 3 strong ones? There's always like one field over here. It's like the dump. It's just like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's a weird game because you will literally throw a card away sometimes.
You would just burn stuff, yeah, and you don't care. It's a neat game. It's a really superb two-player game. So yeah, it's my favorite of the year. Schaden or Battle Line, or it's probably been under other names too. I don't know, but those two.
All right, live chat has mentioned a few games. Why we didn't put them on? Paths of Glory, because we're not heavy war gamers.
Never played it.
There you go.
That was like number 1 on Board Game Geek or
I've been
number 2.
interested in playing it.
Okay.
but
It's
just
okay.
not.
Vinci is a game I liked
Small World.
until Small World came out and massacred it. I will never play Vinci again. Vinci would have some overpowered combos and some weak powers. Small World did fix that by having the 2
Combos, right?
combos. What else? Guillotine. I'm surprised that didn't make your list, actually. Guillotine's okay. It just wouldn't make my top 10. What else are people asking about? Let me see. 7th Sea and Doomtown. Doomtown is overly complex, frankly. Well, actually, so 7th Sea. They fell into that bloat. I'm sure if you get into them, they're really good, but in the
You really gotta get
in the
into it.
lens of 20 years, we can look at those and go, they need to be streamlined. Trying to see if there's any other games that we were going to talk about. Was Torres on the list in one of these years, I think?
99.
Torres is one I liked. It's just super abstract for
It is.
me.
I like Takao way more.
I
Where
agree.
You're building the
Towers, you're building
Towers.
these towers, and you score based on like where the dude is standing.
Oh, okay.
Times the height, times the base or something. It's really mathy.
Okay.
Very dry and abstract. And I put Zerts on my list.
Yeah, it's not.
Torres is drier than that, I would say. I mean, I know it has a theme.
It looks better. I know that.
It looks, it doesn't look as...
Torres was one I gave you 10 action points, though, right? He gave you a ton.
I mean, I would rather play Zerts than Torres, as evidenced by the list. But it looks better, but man, it's a beast to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, those are the different games that pretty much, again,
There's a lot of good games, right? I mean, if you needed to buy games from these years, you can, and there are some good ones. Many of them are still in print, even, which is a testament in and of itself. But compared to now,
yeah, it's crazy. Which
which makes sense. Again, we've learned, right? I mean, things evolve, but there's no way you can say, like, 1998 was the best gaming year ever.
That's why I'm kind of mind-boggled when people are like, yeah, 2000 year of all time. But, man, there's so many good games come out. You know, I look at the shelf at Cool Stuff, you just go down, and you're like, yeah, that all looks good. You know, well, except that one. But, you know, most of these look good.
I almost bought that one the other day.
Well, you shouldn't have. Alrighty, well.
didn't.
Oh, Union Pacific.
What almost means.
Union
Union
Pacific
Pacific,
did not. I thought it was great, but I'll never play it again because of Airlines Europe.
I thought about it. But I mean,
didn't.
there were two, it would have been like 16 or
That's
17.
that's a stock market game, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty light.
Yeah.
I
All
like
right.
Union Pacific more than I like Stevenson's Rocket.
Well, yes. Stevenson's Rocket review coming out in a few weeks. So anyway, until next, we'll be back at 2 o'clock for a short crowd surfing, just the news today, folks. But hey, we'd like to take a look. Should you back stuff? I don't know. Let's find out. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Bassel.
I'm Zee Garcia. Thanks, everybody.
Sam Healy, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the flip side. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.